our third segment, which is age reversing health. And I have Judy Friesen standing by in the way.
Welcome to Age Reversing Health, where we discuss ways to help you go far beyond just surviving this life, with practical and proven solutions to literally turning the clock back on aging so you can live your best life. Live younger for longer. Now, here's your hosts, Carl Krebs and Judy Friesen.
All right. Well, welcome back to Things That Matter. I'm Carl Krebs, your host, and in our segment here, Age Reversing Health, we are going to talk about exactly that. Is it possible to reverse aging? But you know what? It occurred to Judy and I as we spoke off camera that we needed to also identify anti-aging. And that's not an ant. It's a cause. It's an issue. So welcome to the show, Judy Friesen, our knowledgeable health coach of 38 years.
Hey there. Thanks again, Carl, for having me. I'm glad to be with you.
Well, it's a pleasure. And, I think it behooves us, and it's good information for our listening audience, to describe some of the differences. And I know, having seen your material already, that you've, as usual, gotten into the weeds with it, and it's pretty good. But we want to talk about essentially some of those differences of anti-aging and age reversal, because there's something to be said about the differences between the two. So take us to where you want to lead us.
Yeah, I think that it helps for our listening audience to kind of understand where we're coming from and lay the foundation so that then when we're making recommendations, then it'll make a lot of sense. So I think we have to define our terms a little bit. So there's the term longevity, and then there's the term anti-aging, and then there's another term which we talk about, which is reversing age. And so that those kind of get all jumbled up. So I thought it would be good to kind of share a little bit about what the definitions are so that we can take it to where we want to go, which is really to talk about age reversing health. So let's start with longevity. Basically, the simple definition of what we mean by extending or having longevity in our lives, it refers to the length of time that a person lives, right? So it's often associated with your lifespan. So you look on your driver's license and you know when you were born. And so like if you die when you're 80, then you've lived for 80 years. That's basically longevity. But it encompasses things like biological things, genetic things, your environment affects your longevity, lifestyle factors influence your longevity, and well-being and all of that. But people are wondering, what's the difference between longevity and simply the word anti-aging? Well, you know what? Anti-aging is often focusing on just mitigating the visible signs of aging and maybe minimizing some of our age-related health issues. So maybe we can dig into that a little bit if you'd like.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? Just to set the stage, to sort of set the table, have a look, and anybody can do this. Just Google anti-aging products, and I want to show you in a quick way what is available to you, because this is interesting, I find. Let me just get that up there. So here are some typical products that you may see, you are probably familiar with, that are associated with anti-aging. And there's a plethora of them here. You don't even have to get into this, but some of them you recognize. Pretty big names here, pretty familiar names here. But let's talk about what these things really do versus where I think people want to be.
Right. So we all know that while it's nice to look younger and to kind of mitigate some of the visible signs of aging, it's really far more important to know how old are we on the inside of our bodies, not on the external, right? And so we really want to talk today about that. We don't want to get caught up in this whole anti-aging craze, because it's really trying to make yourself look youthful and look young, doing Botox injections, spending a lot of money on very expensive creams that may tighten the skin for 5 or 10 hours. But then when you wash it off, then you're left with even more saggy skin. There's actually a product that will minimize your crow's feet, the lines around your eyes, within 5 seconds. But that is a misnomer, because all it is egg white in that product that when it dries, it pulls and it tightens. So it makes it look like you've magically got rid of your wrinkles. But you know what? You're worse off at the end of it, because it's pulled and it's stretched so much that you end up, when you don't use the product, you end up looking worse. So we don't want to really worry about the external as much as the internal. We want to prolong our lifespan, because don't we all want to live young? Don't we all want to live with energy and focus and no pain, and be able to sleep well, and to go golfing and go out in our senior years with our friends, with our grandchildren? Yeah, I think what we want way more than just to live long, which is longevity. We want way more than what the anti-aging craze is doing, which is just an external thing. We want to reverse our age. And Carl, there is unbelievable information out there on medically being able to see that there are interventions that can actually reverse our actual biological age. It blew my mind when I first heard about that term.
Yeah, it is amazing, because, we've all seen the extreme versions of Hollywood, for example, where we see, and I'm going to mention a name. I'm not to belittle her or besmirch her, Jane Fonda, for example, and others. I remember Elvis Presley's wife, Priscilla, a beautiful woman who was experiencing aging, and the extremes to which she went to, and that tightening up, a facelift and all that. That has nothing. That is a facade. Inside, she's just as old as she ever was. And you're absolutely hitting the nail on the head. It's important to age reverse inside out as well as outside in.
Yeah, and we want to change the inside, because if your cells are not aging as fast, if you are keeping your organs and your bloodstream and your heart and all of the rest of it healthy, then it's going to reflect on the outside. Then you're going to see that luster in your skin. You're going to feel like you don't have to have Botox and acid lifts and all of these things. It just becomes a natural outpouring of what you're doing on the inside. So let's talk a little bit about this whole idea of reverse aging. The definition, by the way, is reversing age is a concept. Now, this is something that I got off a very important site, and they are saying it's a concept, which tells you right away they're not up on the latest, because they're just saying it's a concept that pertains to the reversal or restoration of the physiological changes associated with aging. So they're saying that while it remains a topic of, quote, scientific research and exploration, significant advancements have been made in understanding the mechanisms of aging and potential interventions. Well, we have good news for this broadcast, because this is not just a concept. This is not a potential intervention. This writer, this author of this paper on reverse aging, did not know about LifeWave, this product that you and I have been so enamored with, that is actually not just saying that we are going to age less, we're going to maybe anti-age, we're going to live longer. No, this company has actually figured out a way to reverse aging at the genetic level, at the gene level. You don't have to go and have major interventions with needles and injections. You could actually help your cells to age backwards. That is a concept that it just blows a person's mind until you understand that this is actually happening in today's world.
Well, and you know what? We have the evidence. The science supports the claims that LifeWave makes. And more importantly, people say what they are feeling, what they're living, what they're existing. We always encourage people who begin to apply the LifeWave patches, and particularly the X39, which is a patch associated with regenerating new cells in our body. We always say, take a picture. A picture doesn't lie. And when you look at the pictures, and we've got thousands of these pictures from people all over the world, you cannot deny that the person looks noticeably younger in as little as 6 months.
That's right.
Sometimes longer. Sometimes longer. And we're not making any claims here, medically or otherwise, because we're not doctors. We only know that LifeWave is a science-backed product of which there is no other kind in the world. And truly, it's rare to say that, Judy, isn't it? That you cannot find another product like it, can you?
Yeah, this is no hype. This is actually true that you cannot find another product. There's a patent on this product, and there's no other light therapy patch that is a non-transdermal wearable patch. It's so simple. It's like a peel and stick. You just stick it on your body like you have your patch there on your
right here.
And
this is a simple patch.
It is modulating your body to be younger day in, day out, even with all of the poisons and all of the pesticides and all of the additives and all of the stress that we have. We know that this patch is actually helping to modulate our body to increase a certain peptide that's in the body. We call it copper peptide. GHK-Cu is a copper peptide that is responsible and been scientifically proven to accelerate the production of stem cells in your body. Here's a quote, Carl, that I think is really interesting. It says that age reversing or reverse aging goes beyond prevention and aims to restore youthfulness. Now, most of our audience would say, yeah, it's really important. If you're into health, you know, the things that matter to us is to prevent, the deadly trio: cardiovascular, cancer, heart attack, diabetes. All of these types of diseases we want to prevent in our life. Absolutely. But can you imagine being able to say, don't even just only think about preventing? That's just some equal. But we want to take it back down so that you're actually 10, 20, 30 years younger. And there's a way to do that, to actually have your cells not just stay static, but actually reverse engineer, in a sense, and repair the damage that's happening. Did you know that even just having emotionally charged, difficult thoughts and emotional stress is like smoking half a pack of cigarettes every day? Every day that you're stressed out, think about that. We can't control how much is happening on the inside to ourselves, but there we have an insurance package. By placing on a phototherapy patch that actually activates your own healing cells, you're going to have the peace of mind that even the days where you can't control your thoughts and you've got somebody just yelling at you, or you have a flat tire or a car accident or whatever else, you can know that you're doing everything you can to not just prevent, but actually turn the clock back.
Yes, and the thing is, you've used the word several times here, and I want to just camp there just for a moment, the word modulating the body. It's hard to know what of anything you need and how much and how often. It's hard to know. How can you diagnose? How can you, say to somebody, you need so many milligrams of this, or so many ounces of that, so much of this, so much exposure to that? What these patches are doing, and this is what I like so much, is they are self-modulating the body. They are activating the body to do what it can and what it needs to do in the moment that you need it to do it. And that's so amazing, because when you look at anything, you say, well, what's the effect of that going to be? Well, it might last 15 minutes. Like, let's say you take a headache pill, and we all do that from time to time. Well, once the effects of that pill wear off, you may have the pain back. But we have patches that deal with pain that are going to take it away, because pain is only a symptom of something else. It's a symptom of a blockage. Usually a blockage of energy is what a lot of people say. But when you release that, well, now we've actually solved it instead of treating the symptoms, right? That's often what we're doing, Judy, right?
Yeah. We are trying to solve it by getting to the root of the problem. And so we're not just saying to the body, I don't want you to do this. So that's what happens when you take, say, a headache pill or a blood pressure pill. It's forcing the body chemically to go back to some kind of normal that we've deemed the normal number, whatever we've said that is. But instead, what if we did this light therapy that gently coaxed and modulated the body to go back to homeostasis, to go back to where it was meant to be? It's a gentle way. It's like, how do you know whether you should take 500 milligrams of vitamin C or 50 milligrams of vitamin C when you get a cold? You don't know. You're guessing, and you could be overdoing it. Sometimes you don't even know if you're overdoing it. Whereas when you modulate the body through light therapy, you are not having to guess any longer. That one day, if I have an extra amount of stress, I have extra amount of cortisol that my adrenal glands have just flooded my bloodstream with. And everybody knows that adrenaline and cortisol are bad for the blood sugar. It's bad for your body. Well, if I've got that patch on, that day, I may need to modulate my adrenaline down by 60%, whereas another day, I might only need to modulate at 20. There's no pill, there's no supplement, Carl, that can do that. Whereas the patch, it's working with the body. So whatever your day is, whether it's high or low, it's going to bring it back to normal, back to homeostasis. I love the fact that these patches from LifeWave take out the guesswork. There's no more guessing, because in my
no guesswork involved. Yeah.
38 years of trying to figure out, what should I tell my clients to take? How much of this, how much of that? What should they do? This takes out all of that guesswork. They just put the patch on. The body responds to your specific genetics, your specific needs for that day and that moment. It's amazing.
Day and that moment. And everybody's body is different. So you might prescribe for one person what you knew worked for someone else. You can be completely wrong on the next person, because we cannot know. A lot of it is guesswork. Doctors are guessing too when they write you scripts. I've been in front of them. They said, well, we'll try this one. I had at one point where we cycled through them. And I said, doctor, you wrote this one a few months ago. It didn't work. Why am I? Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, really, exactly.
It's really something. But the body. And I love this about David Schmidt. The body is uniquely created to do exceedingly more than we could ask or expect of it, because we are the most fascinating creatures that occupy this planet. And God made us specifically for that. And I'm not pushing religion here. I'm just pushing the fact that if you think that you're some kind of a happenstance, something that just materialized, you're worth way more than that. And that's what I love. David Schmidt has tapped into a code that he identifies with creatures that have lived long lives, like lobsters. We talked about that a few weeks ago. Lobsters.
Well, I think you're frozen there for a minute, Carl. So I'll just take over until you unfreeze. But you were going to say lobsters actually don't age. They are actually immortal. The way that their bodies work, their cells actually don't age. They actually have the ability to stay away from having their cells break down. And David Schmidt, the owner and scientist and CEO of LifeWave, has actually been able to take the code of what helps these lobsters be immortal and use that to look at the frequency and use that in the way that these patches work. So I'm thrilled with what the LifeWave product has done. Now, we've lost Carl for a little bit, but that's okay, because I'd like to share with the audience a little bit more of some interesting science. For those of you who want to geek out with me a little bit, we want to talk a little bit more about this whole idea of age reversing and how can we actually turn back the hands of time. Well, at the cellular level is what we have to do. We need to be at the cellular level. We need to change various factors to help us to not age. Well, scientists have found that on the ends of our chromosomes, the DNA, there are these little ends that they're almost like, if you look at a shoelace, and there's plastic on each end of the shoelaces. Those are like what we're talking about in science called telomeres. And telomeres is one of the holy grails of how do we get our cells to not age. When those telomeres start to shorten, that's how our cells and our genetics start to age. So these are the protective caps on the ends of our chromosome. So think about telomeres. You'll hear a lot about that in the future because age reversing is really a thing these days. And telomeres are the things on the end of our chromosomes that naturally shorten as the cells divide. And that eventually leads to what we call cell senescence or cell death. So cell death is what we don't want. Telomeres, we want to keep them healthy. So scientists have actually been exploring ways to actually extend the telomeres and delay that cellular aging. Well, I have good news for our listening audience, and welcome back here, Carl. I've got great news for our listening audience. We were actually geeking out on a little bit of science here while you were away. And
I took a trip without leaving the farm, but we're back. That's technology.
That's technology. So we were just talking about the actual cellular aging, Carl, and how to stop the cellular aging is to stop the telomeres, which are these little plastic ends on the strands of the chromosomes, like on the plastic that we have on the end of our shoelaces. And we want to keep those telomeres from shortening, which is why we age. That is one of the main reasons why we age. And guess what? When we help the GHK, the copper peptide in our bodies to increase, we actually are helping these telomeres to extend rather than shorten. And that actually delays our cellular aging. So now I know that when we wear these patches, we're actually reversing our age, our biological age, because we are actually reversing the cellular age, which is very, very key to have it from the inside out. So there's,
as you said, and as we both said a couple times here,
go ahead.
Inside out aging.
That's right. Now listen.
Inside out regeneration is what we're after.
And we don't want to give our audience the sense that it's only just the patch. We still have to have good lifestyle factors like regular exercise, a healthy diet, reduce your stress as much as possible, get out and get some real good sunlight, have some really good relationships in your life, get rid of the toxic relationships. So while we know that we want to use the LifeWave technology as a way to reverse our age, we still need to be sensible, to drink enough water, eat enough fiber, and make sure that we have a healthy diet. So over to you, Carl.
Excellent. Yes. All of that to say that we don't advocate that there is a single patch that you can put on that's going to be the solution. And it starts with reestablishing your health on a new platform. And that's why we call it LifeWave is a life way. And when we start to move in the right direction, we will start seeing tremendous results here. I want to talk for a few minutes, Judy, if you don't mind, about the company LifeWave, because we've referred to it a number of times. And as we've now talked about lifestyle, the anti-aging and so forth here, reversing age, it's important to note that LifeWave is now in its 20th year of operation. And it is in its own area.
So Carl, I'm really sorry, but you're breaking up. You're breaking up a lot. I think that I'm going to need to interpret what you just said because you're breaking up a little bit, Carl. So let me just repeat what I think you said. You're talking about the company of LifeWave is a 20-year-old company. It's a legacy company. It is growing. It's around the world. It is a company that is worth looking at because it's stable, not to mention stable, but year over year, it's actually doubling. And each month this summer and this fall, we are having the highest gross sales than any month previous in the 20 years. So this is a company that is strong, it's stable, and it is worth not only looking into, but getting involved in, whether you're a customer or whether you want to actually use it as a second stream of income or your total income.
Yeah. Far more stable than my internet connection right now. Sorry to say that.
That's right.
But recently, and just to put it in perspective, recently, LifeWave just opened up its world headquarters in Draper, Utah, a multi-million-dollar, multi-story building of which is the latest technology. And this company is dedicated to the future. And David Schmidt has taken something that was laughable 20 years ago, and he talks about it, that he was laughed at, much in the way you can think of another David who stood before Goliath. He was laughed at too. But David Schmidt took it to where nobody thought he ever would. And this company is growing because the product works. We implore all of you, get in touch with us. You can get in touch with me through the Facebook here or info@thingsthatmatter.ca. We'd love to help you change your future too, the way it's changed so many lives around the world. And I think, as a follow-up to this, Judy, I was just thinking we should just put up some pictures next time of some of the people who says, take a look at me the way I was, take a look at me now.
Yeah, that's right. info@thingsthatmatter.ca. That's a place to send any of your questions, your concerns, your skepticism. We welcome any question or comment. We love to hear from our listeners, and we want to help people to age reverse, because that is something that really matters to all of us.
Absolutely, Judy. So on that note, while we still have a stable connection, I want to thank you again for your wisdom and your preparation in bringing this forward. And to the audience that is present and the one that will hear this many thousands of views later, please reach out to us. We are not here to sell you anything. We're here to encourage you in a new direction that you might have never known about had you not tuned into our channel and Things That Matter, and specifically Age Reversing Health. Join the life wave of thousands and thousands of people that have said, I never thought something like this could ever happen for me, because many of those people meet us at the intersection of where their health and their doctor come together, and he says or she says to the patient, I'm sorry, there's nothing more we can do for you. And then they look at alternative, healthy modalities, natural modalities of healing and health. And I want to say, in a world of health, which is a multi-billion-dollar business, we have no adverse side effects to using our product. That makes it safe for anyone and all ages to use. Right, Judy?
There's no side effects, but even more importantly, there's no contraindications, which means that you can combine it if you have to be on any kind of medicine at all, whether it's herbs, supplements, stimulants, prescriptions. There's nothing that is going to stop you from using these patches at the same time with whatever else you're on, whether you've got a pacemaker or whether you're on a prescription. It's actually safe for everybody.
All right. Judy, again, thank you. As always, look forward to your next episode as you share your experience, your wisdom, insight, talking about age reversing health. Thank you, my dear. We'll see you again on the next episode of Age Reversing Health.
Good night.
Well, to our audience, I apologize for a few glitches, but that's how it rolls with live. We know that. That's just how it rolls. And I'm thankful always that I have good co-hosts, and I have someone by the name of Brad Wilder in the back who's always ready if we need him. But I want to just encourage you, please show up here, share and like and share, whichever way you want to do it. That's how we spread the message about our podcast. And I do this for the benefit of others so that you may hear something about something that concerns you, something that matters to you, that matters to us. And that's why we want to encourage you. Bring your friends here every Thursday, 6:30 Manitoba time, to this location. And we are branching out. Plans are in the works to expand for that. Until then, this is Carl Krebs, your host for Things That Matter. Wishing you a great evening. God bless and good night.
Imagine having no pain, sleeping through the night, having more energy, and reversing the aging process. Now imagine LifeWave doing that all naturally, without the use of harmful drugs. X39 is the most advanced patented light therapy in the world. LightWave is a simple wearable patch that you place on your body that stimulates the body to regenerate and heal itself. With more than 20 years of research and over 100 patents, LifeWave specializes in age-reversing all-natural health. Find out what the power of the patch can do for you. For more information or to join our LifeWave community, go to thingsthatmatter.ca/LifeWave. LifeWave, reversing the aging process naturally without the use of harmful drugs.